Touch a trend, be wildin' with it.
Welcome back to I-9INE5IVE Sports Podcast. And today I have the pleasure of speaking with pro baseball player, shortstop for the Tampa Bay Rays, Taylor Walls. Man, what's going on? How are you?
Good, man. Nice to be on here. Watch your reactions all the time, bro. Keep it up. Big fan, but yeah, man, I'm excited to be here.
Appreciate it, man. Appreciate you taking the time out of your day to join us. So this platform is pretty much about giving, up and coming athletes kind of a inside look of what a pro athlete or a pro ESPN employee or anybody that's involved in sports, an insight of what their life is like. So start off a little bit about your upbringing, where you're from, and how you knew you were going to be a pro baseball player.
All right. So I grew up in South Georgia, about 2 hours south of Atlanta. Mm-hmm. It's a town called Cordell. I kind of grew up playing all kinds of sports. When I was younger, it was really around where I'm from. It was football, basketball, baseball. Those were kind of the three main sports there. And I grew up playing football and baseball for the most part. And I was always pretty good at baseball. I guess athleticism kind of ran genetically in our family, but as a young kid, I kind of knew I was pretty good at baseball and football for that sake. But then I guess it was kind of middle school to where football kind of transitioned into basketball. So I became more of a basketball, baseball type guy. Mm-hmm. And then it really wasn't until, I don't know, man, maybe around high school. I took it serious. I always wanted to play, was trying to play as much as possible. And then really around high school is kind of when I was like, this is kind of my way to college. This is how I'm gonna try to, take this to the next step. Right. I was always very determined. My parents always like really pushed me to try to outwork other people. They gave me the right, the tools to know what it took to try to get to the next level.
Right. And
so, really it was having the right support group around me. I had a really good friend group in high school that were the same way. Few of them went and played in college as well, but for the most part, we all had good heads on our shoulders. So we were all like very bound and determined of what, we weren't just trying to play video games every night or,
right.
You know what I'm saying? It was like, we kind of knew what we wanted to do and what it took to get there. So there were plenty of times where school started at 8 a.m. We were working out at 5:36 in the morning, hitting baseballs at 7, and then going to school right after.
See, and that's what, not to cut you off, that's what this platform is all about. I like for you guys to kind of like give some insight to the younger kids on like what it really takes to make it to that level.
Yeah, and that's with anything. So I guess I'll back it up a little bit. So I started playing basketball about 6th grade. This is honestly where I think I learned most of my work ethic. Like just kind of like the rules kind of I live by or really where the determination and the work ethic and the mindset, I guess, for what I think has gotten me to the level I'm at, all came from basketball, I think, because it was a sport that I had never, besides like shooting Nerf in the house, I had never picked up a real basketball and played, especially like in an organized team setting.
Right.
So when I picked it up in 6th grade, I looked like a sore thumb. I was the only white kid in our school playing. I just looked like a raw, like someone who was athletic that never played basketball before.
Right.
And so I think honestly struggling and not being to the level that I knew I thought I could have been in that sport really found that drive. Like I really dug deep and found that drive. And then the coaches I had coming up through middle school and high school at our, high school and middle school were fantastic. They taught me so many life lessons. And even for like basketball, like we would have to show up and get like 150 shots in before school started on Sunday. And that wasn't even a sport I cared to play after high school, but it was just like that, building that structure and that mindset and the commitment and the discipline to if you're going to commit to do something, trying to be the best at it. Right. That just built the perfect foundation for me to kind of take that mindset into baseball as well. And I think ultimately to get me to where the spot I'm at.
Man, that makes me think about a quote that my old basketball coach used to say. And I'm pretty sure it's a cliche across all sports, but hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard. And that pretty much sounds like how you garnered your dedication and your will to like make it.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. I mean, you got, there's so many kids that are, and I even see them at the professional level. Kids that are just stupid talented, like have every gift that they could have, every tool in the toolbox, but it's just, you could just tell until you actually apply it, it's like people are gonna catch up to you. You take the guy that I think Kobe Bryant said it in an interview. He was like one of the all seasons where he was like doing 4 and 5 workouts a day, and other guys were doing 1 and 2 workouts a day. And you look up 3-4 years later, and you're 5 years ahead of them, and they can't catch up. I mean, it adds up, man. Especially like when the work you're doing, like when you go in a gym, if you go in a gym and throw up shots by yourself, you're not going to be under throwing. Like every shot that you take matters. Like, I mean, like it's just pattern recognition. It's the mental ability to know, just the confidence you give yourself of knowing you're in the gym and they're not.
Right.
So it's yeah, man, that the quote you said, it perfect.
Talk about so you were the 79th overall pick in the 2017 MLB draft. You went to Florida State. Y'all have in terms of college baseball, y'all have a rich history. Yourself, Buster Posey, JD Drew, Stephen Drew. Talk about college, what that was like, and how you pretty much knew, like, okay, pros next.
Yeah. So when I was in high school, the only thing that I like, D1 was all people talked about. Oh, I want to go D1. I want to do this and that. And in baseball, you could actually get drafted and go professionally out of high school. Which
I wanted to ask you that too, because that's one of the few drafts where you can come out of high school. Like they're drafting like 16, 17-year-old kids.
Yeah, and yeah, right. And so most of all international kids for the most part are 16. And the United States, the draft is you either have to wait till your 3rd year, basically the same way as football, to go out of college, or you can go when you're a high school kid, which is you're 18 years old, 17, 18. I didn't have that luxury. See, I was not developed skill wise. I didn't have one pro team thinking about drafting me out of high school. Like I remember there was one day when I was in high school, it was after basically it's baseball's version of AAU. I had one game to where I had the University of Georgia and Florida State call me the same day. And those were basically, UGA was the school I always wanted to go to when I was a kid. I mean, in the heart of South Georgia, that's like everybody's dream.
Right.
And so that's where I initially was committed to. And then I saw coaches were leaving. I started, researching the history behind the programs. Okay, if I wanted to take this to go professionally eventually, FSU is probably the program I need to go to. So fast forward, I go to college, and I end up starting my freshman year at FSU, have a terrible season. I mean, it's like awful. So then going into my sophomore year, I had no ambitions of playing pro ball. I love the game, but just like being realistic with myself based on my performance the year before, I was like, there's no chance I even can play pro ball right now. But I think that mindset is what turned my career around. Because going into my sophomore year, I had no plans of playing further. It was like, I don't know if you can't cuss on this channel, can you?
Yeah.
All right. So I was like, basically I had the zero fucks given mentality. Like, I'm not playing further than this. I don't give a shit about what happens.
Right.
Like, I'm just going out there and playing and enjoying the next 3 years I'm here. So I go into my sophomore year and like, this is the best season I've ever had. Like I hit like 350 or something. End up playing for the USA Collegiate National Team that summer. And that's when my name wasn't brought up in the drafts at all previously, but then going into my junior year after that season, that's when everybody was like, okay, this guy's going to go 2nd to 4th round. Like, so that shifted my career. From there on, I knew I wanted to play professionally, and then it kind of went from there.
Okay. So for those people who don't know, 2nd to 4th round in MLB is relatively high. Is that correct?
Yeah, pretty high.
Okay. All right. Just to give people clarification, I know, but I just wanted you to clarify that. So currently y'all are third in the AL East. Y'all spanked the Tigers last night. So talk about down the stretch what the playoff picture looks like for y'all. I know this year is the first year they're starting a new playoff format. And I think y'all play in the toughest division in baseball, period. It's the best division, period. I don't see a division better than y'all. So talk about what things are looking like down the stretch and what the season's been like for you so far.
It's gonna be tough. I mean, like you said, the division we're in is so competitive. I mean, you look the worst team in our division right now is the Red Sox, and I feel like they're loaded. So
they got 50 wins. So
I know. So it's like and I mean they've been struggling here lately, but before then, I mean, they were right there in the hunt too. So I mean, I don't know. We're super competitive, man. Our team just knows how to win. And I mean, we're not gonna go out there and throw guys that, you know, you watch on ESPN every night. We're a low market team that really can't afford, you know, these big name players.
Right.
But, you know, our front office does a great job of just finding people that can compete, that are, I guess, cheaper, more affordable players for them at this time. So everybody on our roster, is capable of playing with all these other teams and guys. I think we've kind of proven that over the past few years. And and it's just gonna and hopefully we have a few guys down right now that'll come back from injury, hopefully towards the later end of the season. That should be a big help as well. But I don't know, man. It's getting hot at the right time. Kind of, I mean, similar to NCAA basketball. Whoever can make that run at the perfect timing to when the postseason starts, that's kind of what you want.
Man, it's always baseball, man. It's always a toss up, man. Whoever starts out hot in that wild card, it's gonna be hard to catch up.
Yeah.
But so talk about what it's like living in Tampa. What's Florida like versus where you're from in Georgia? Is it a culture shock? I mean, I know you Florida State is in Tallahassee.
Right.
Tampa's a little bit more in the central part of Florida. Talk about the differences between Georgia, Tallahassee, where you are now. What it's like, culture shock, anything like that.
I don't think it's a culture shock. Luckily, I'm pretty close. I mean, especially when I look on my team and there's guys all the way up from like Seattle, Washington that are down here.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's different. I say Tallahassee and where I'm from in Cordell, Georgia, are fairly similar. I mean, I almost kind of look at Tallahassee like it's a part of Georgia. I mean, just you look at the elevation, you look at the vegetation around there, everything's pretty similar.
Right.
When you start getting down to Tampa, my wife loves it. I'm married I have a 15-month-old daughter, and she loves the beach, everything. I mean, it's fun. I mean, playing in the trop's cool. It's you get AC every single game. You don't have to worry about being out in the sun or raining at 5:00 every afternoon.
Man.
But yeah, I know it's no, I mean, I enjoy it. Tampa Bay is a great area. Well, St. Pete is a great area. We enjoy it. We get to go outside and, you can go to they have a good zoo there, aquarium, kind of go to the beach whenever you want. So yeah, man, it's nice.
Yeah. All right. So I got some fan questions that I want to ask you. Just a couple. I'm gonna ask. Let's see. Okay. Lil Top ask. Does lifting weights help you throw harder? And do you have any advice for young players who are looking for an opportunity to play pro ball?
The first question, you always need to lift weights, especially when you're younger. I mean, you need to lift weights when you're younger more to build a foundation and yes, to get strength. I mean, if you're to a certain extent, weights will help you throw harder, but then you get to a certain point to where it starts turning into more of like mobility, flexibility, like taking care of your arm, maybe like endurance, like how much you throw. Right. But depending, especially up through like your high school years, lifting weights will help you throw. And I'm sure there's plenty, you could probably go on the internet or YouTube and look up, things to help strengthen my arm or certain weightlifting exercises to help strengthen my arm. And they'll probably take you through a good guide of it. And then, I mean, advice for kids that are trying to play pro ball, it's just kind of back to what we were talking about earlier is outwork everyone. And then when you look around in the gym and there's nobody there, look in the mirror,
Right.
outwork the person outwork yourself. Because motivation is something that is a skill. It's a skill that you develop by one, competing against other people, and then when other people aren't there, competing against yourself. You have to be able to create that drive internally to know, okay, look, maybe there's nobody in my city or my state or whatever it may be, or just my high school that's here outworking me right now. But there's a kid who has a lot less than me, who wants it a lot more than me, maybe in a different country or a different state, that's gonna do this last rep, that's gonna stay in here for 10 more minutes and do, put up 200 more shots or take 200 more swings. Like you have to dig deep and find ways to internally motivate yourself, because that's what's going to keep the drive there, keep you working out on weekends, staying out of trouble, on Friday and Saturday nights, and doing what you need to do to get the next level. That's the greatest advice I probably have for somebody like that.
Speaking of different cities, different countries, different states, NLB Jace asks, best advice on an athlete who lives in a town where no scouts come.
Find a summer ball team. I lived, really, the town that I was from, we didn't have scouts there either. I mean, most of the people, it's called a region. I know it's districts in some states, but our high school region, it was not known for baseball. It was a basketball and football region. There were no scouts ever at our baseball games. So the first advice, and I think this is kind of similar in basketball, maybe it's shifting more now in today's culture, but most kids are seen during like summer ball. We call it summer ball. So it's like when you go out playing in baseball, it's called like a travel team or stuff like that. Like you find an organization, and they have tryouts all the time. There's things called showcases all the time. So find you a travel team or a team that plays and showcase events during the summer, and put the time in, and just go play. Scouts will be there. And most of the time, those coaches have very good connections with scouts. So even if scouts aren't there, especially now that I've gotten a lot older and I've gotten a lot closer with how networking works with the summer ball coaches and college coaches and professional coaches and scouts, is it don't take a scout to be at the game to see you. Most of the time when players are, get seen or heard about is when a coach has a player, loves how the player plays. The player is like hardworking, very coachable, and he lets that coach know. That's how the coach gets there in the first place. The coach isn't just randomly driving 50 miles to some game. Right. And when he is, the kid that he's going to see, everybody knows about already.
Exactly.
How you get seen is the coaches you're playing for let those coaches know, hey, I got a kid he'd be a really good fit for your school. He's hardworking, coachable, this, that, and other. Now that coach comes to see you. So just find a summer ball team with some good coaches, some that have had players go to colleges already. And I think just do what you can to try to get in there and play.
I think where I'm from, they call it like Legion, like American Legion.
Yeah.
A lot of the guys that from when I was in high school in the mid 2010s, early 2000s, mid 2010s, they were a lot of the guys that came from my area. They played Legion ball, and they were able to play college ball, some even pro. For those who don't know, I'm from the same town as Jerry Narin, who's the manager for the White Sox.
Yeah.
His son was actually a high-ranked baseball player from my city. So, and all his friends and everybody played Legion ball. They were all pretty good too. So I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, for sure.
Let's see. Last question. This is from R. Dot. Best way to elevate your hitting skills for younger players.
Honestly, just get a tee, hit off a tee. It's so different nowadays than when I was coming up in high school, because when I was there, like I feel like I get on Instagram or whether it's YouTube, TikTok, and there's so many different, just like there's so much information you can just consume, good and bad. I don't really think there's any good or bad information when it comes to hitting, because the main goal is to put a round bat square on a baseball. That's all it is. Regardless of how you stand, how your swing looks, how it feels, how other people think it is. If you can do that consistently, you're a good hitter. So I think just hitting as much, and all it takes, hand-eye coordination and squaring a baseball up is just hitting over and over. Like the more you do it, the better you're gonna get at it. If
I
you're
don't see how y'all do it, man. I don't see how y'all do it, bro.
Man, every day I wake up and I'm like, dude, why did I choose to do this?
I don't see how y'all do it, man.
But yeah, I mean, that's the advice I'd have, is just find a cage somewhere, and all you need is a tee. If you can have somebody throw to you or underhand flips baseballs to you, just hit as much as possible. The more you hit, the more you're going to learn about yourself. The more you're going to be, the more you hit, the more you're going to experiment with different thoughts. Like, okay, let me try to do that. Let me try to do this, or try to hit this baseball this way and this way. And you're going to start, without even having a coach around, teaching yourself how to do different things hitting wise, how to, make slight adjustments that you would never know how to do. So just hit as much as possible, get in the cage and be in there as much as possible.
Man, I don't see how y'all get that power, man, on that ball. I can't do it.
Did you play baseball growing up at all?
I played let me see. I played up until I got to high school.
Yeah.
I didn't play past the 10th grade. It just started getting too, I was like, it's a little too fast for me.
What sports you play?
I played basketball and football.
Got you.
I was decent at football, but I ended up dropping football to play basketball more on, because I went to prep school for basketball.
Mm-hmm.
So we traveled a lot. We played a lot of good players. John Wall, CJ Leslie. We played a lot of good guys. So that was my experience. I stopped playing baseball in 10th grade to focus on basketball. So
yeah, that's another thing, man. Play as many sports as possible.
Definitely.
I think too many kids. There's so much in any sport. You can play a sport so much these days to where you really get distracted and you don't even think about playing a different sport.
Right.
I think like playing a different sport gives your mind a break from that sport to where it don't wear you out. Because when you're younger, man, you want to do so many different things. It's so easy to get worn out of something. I even went through a time to where I was like, man, I don't even want to play baseball anymore, just because I felt like every weekend I was doing it. And just other sports gave me other avenues to, learn different things, not be as good and try to, become better. It taught me that motivation and drive. And then also it's just from a physical athletic standpoint, you become such a better athlete from being different sports. I mean, because the defensive position I play at shortstop, you have to be very quick in a short area.
Yeah.
So and I think that playing basketball helped me. I think that's almost 100% of what gives me the ability to play shortstop at this level. It's just like being always defensive guard. Because I was in high school as a basketball player, I was more of a defender, a pass first guard, more of a defensive player. And I think just like whether it's doing the slide drills in practice or having to guard guys and not having a clue of what way they're about to go, it's just it teaches you, faster change of motion. It gives your quick twitch muscles going. Where in baseball is more of a slow sport. You do things really fast in a short amount of period of time, but for the most part, you're standing out there waiting until something happens. And so if you just continuously play baseball and you don't experiment with tennis, basketball, football, or any of these other sports, you can get your physical tools can get very one-dimensional.
Yeah, I know I used to run when I wasn't playing football, when I wasn't playing basketball, I ran cross country for 2 years. I ran track for 2 years. All of that helps. Cross country with endurance, track with speed, quickness and agility. Baseball with hand-eye coordination, football, hand-eye coordination. Football helped me get my arm strength. So it was so like you're saying, playing different sports, becoming diverse in all areas is always a plus.
For sure. 100%.
All right, man. So we're gonna get into this rapid fire. You can say pass. You don't have to answer it if you don't want to.
All right.
But we're gonna get into like some quick draw questions. I know you play shortstop. Do you think shortstop is the best position in baseball?
Like hardest?
Do you think the best players are shortstops?
Yes.
Okay. Is it the hardest position?
I'll say yes. I don't know. Catching is pretty close.
Oh,
Or
I never heard anybody say.
I'm not considering pitching, but in baseball, pitching and position players are two totally separate things. But from a position player standpoint, I think it would be between shortstop and catching.
Okay. All right. So with that being said, best shortstop ever.
Ever. Wow. Oh my God. I didn't watch a lot of baseball growing up now.
Oh.
At all. Like, I mean, I watched the Atlanta Braves. That was about it. I'll go. Golly, I'm stumbling on the first one. I don't know. I'm going to go. I was just a fan of Rafael Furcal. I don't know that he's the best shortstop ever, but I'm going to go with him just because I grew up watching him play much.
Okay. Who's your favorite current player?
I'll say Aaron Judge. Screw it.
Aaron Judge.
He's a good hitter. Yeah, great hitter. Love watching him hit.
Favorite player of all time?
Let's go. I'll go Ted Williams.
Okay. Best infielder, regardless of position.
I'm gonna go Dustin Pedroia.
Okay. Favorite teammate?
Oh wow, you're about to make me pick between them. I'm gonna go Josh Love.
Okay. All right. From first base to catcher, your dream lineup.
Ooh.
It can be current, it can be legends, it can be anybody.
Catcher, I'll go Buster Posey.
Okay, Florida State.
Yep. I'll go, let's see, first base. We'll go Babe Ruth.
Okay.
Second base, we'll go, golly, man, I'm trying to think of older players too. I don't really know too many of them. Second base, let's do Dustin Pedroia there.
Okay.
Plays. Shortstop, let's go. Ooh, I forgot it. Shortstop would be Cal Ripken.
Okay.
The earlier question, that'd be Cal Ripken.
I can't think of what they called him, but he played like every game. I can't think of what they called. I can't think of his nickname.
That's incredible. Third base, I'm gonna go Chipper Jones.
Oh.
Center field, Andrew Jones. As you can tell, I'm watching
Braves.
Yep. We'll go Judge in right field.
Okay.
And then left field, we'll go. Man, who should I throw in left? That's a hard one. I don't know. Left field's that's gonna stump me. I don't know who you got. Who's your favorite baseball player ever?
Man, I'm weird. My favorite baseball player ever is Manny Ramirez.
Oh yeah, let's throw him in left. That's a great left fielder.
I love Manny Ramirez.
And we'll put David Ortiz at DH.
Okay. All right.
That's a good one. Were you a Red Sox fan growing up?
Yeah, I like the Red Sox growing up, but now I like the Dodgers.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know they beat y'all in 2020, but
I know.
Yeah, man. So I appreciate you coming on. We're gonna wrap up because I know you don't have much time, but I appreciate you coming on and giving all the advice, giving all the game, answering my questions, man. I appreciate you coming on. Thank you.
Oh yeah, man. Anytime you want to have me back, let me know. I'll be happy.
All right, man. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Have a good one.
All right, you as well.